Finally, y'all, the day has finally come. Instead of working on this thing, we get to take it to our first cruise in tonight and actually enjoy it a little bit. So we got about a short 30 to 40 minute ride up the road. Boy, was I wrong. Last weekend we thought we was going to have a fun-filled weekend of cruising, and this thing had other ideas in mind. I've been beating this thing around town, little short trips, for about a week or so, and this thing has performed excellent. So last weekend we planned to take it on our first cruise in, about 40 minutes away from here, and this thing decided it wanted to give us fuel issues. So I planned on making some content for y'all, and that didn't happen. We ended up limping this thing around all night. I think we got a vapor lock issue. If not, the fuel pump's going out on it. So we're going to address that today and see if we can't remedy this issue. But first thing we got to do is get the leaf blower out and see if we can knock some of this pollen off of this thing. My allergies are kicking my ass, but we're still out here going to try to get this thing done. See if I can blow this thing off first. Y'all have to excuse the mess out here too. I just recently had to replace his post on this carport. So we still got the old post laying here. And with the scrap wood, I decided to make me a little bench. If you got a two-wheel drive square body Dodge with this big goofy bumper on the back, unless you're using it around the farm, these things ain't good for nothing besides knocking your kneecaps off. But turns out they do make a pretty good fire pit bench. I just took some scrap 4x4 posts that we had left over from this job and just screwed them right to it. Makes a decent little bench. But yeah, I still got to get here and clean up my mess. Spring cleaning is in full effect. I got car parts laying everywhere. But we got bigger issues on hand. Let's try to see if we can solve this fuel issue. And in other news, I hear traffic going by. I recently picked up some new microphones, so hopefully that is making this audio a little bit better. It's been hard to make any content out here. I got one neighbor. He's not really close, but we live in a holler and the sound kind of travels up through the hill. And he's got a few dogs out there. He's got one 3-legged dog and he just barks all the time, so it's hard to shoot a video out here without him barking in the background. I mean, I guess if I had 3 legs, I'd bark all the time too, but hopefully this microphone will help that situation. Y'all let me know if the audio is any better or worse. So here's my theory on the fuel vapor lock issue. As you can see, the factory hard line runs right against a block that comes off the pump. I don't know if you can see the pump right now. It's behind and below the alternator there. And the factory hard line runs right up against the block, right underneath the heater hoses here. So that is definitely not ideal for heat transfer. This thing does have a 3-core aluminum radiator on it with an electric fan, and the car runs perfectly dead center in the middle of the temperature gauge, so it doesn't have an issue with overheating. But with this fuel line being trapped in between 2 heater hoses, it's actually run between those heater hoses now. It has no way of dissipating the heat, and the fuel pump itself being trapped down in there against the block and the exhaust manifolds, it's going to get heat soaked as well. So we have to find a better issue or better routing for this hard fuel line to get it out here where it can get some cool air so it can cool off. It was running fine until last weekend, and it's like 85 degrees, and it's the first long trip we took on the car. And after sitting in traffic for about 10 minutes, we pulled out on the highway and started to go up an incline hill, and I noticed right away that it felt like we didn't have any power. So we made it to our destination. We pulled over Once we got to our destination, popped the hood. I checked everything around the carburetor, no fuel leaks, nothing like that. We did have a fuel pressure gauge on here at one time, but the glass busted and it started leaking out of the gauge. But I did pick one up to replace that now. So last weekend, I didn't have any idea what the fuel pressure was on it. I just know we weren't getting any fuel. I can come up here and hit the throttle with or without the car running. I had no shot coming out of the accelerator pump. I'm going to go on a limb and say that we have a vapor lock issue, or the fuel is actually boiling inside the fuel pump itself. So we got to figure out a way to get this hard line out here in some cool air. And if you're looking for a good channel to watch as far as content on Edelbrock carburetors and fuel systems in general, check out Muscle Car Solutions. He has very detailed, in-depth videos discussing everything concerning Edelbrock carburetors and complete fuel systems. Really knowledgeable guy, so y'all check him out. So here's my plan of attack. I never did address the fuel lines on the rear. Actually, I never touched any fuel lines on this car at all, except the actual hard line going to the carburetor itself. So we need to address the front and rear fuel lines. I'm pretty sure that the rear lines coming off the tank going to the hard line are dry rotted. So I'm going to go ahead and replace those. We need to make a front line. I'm going to replace the fuel pump. I got a factory style fuel pump to put back on it, mechanical. I'm going to install this fuel pressure gauge. New filter. I got some of that DEI heat wrap that I'm going to wrap around the fuel line to try to mitigate any heat. And I can't remember when I put that intake on if I blocked that crossover, the heat crossover, or not. So we're going to check that. And if I can't make something work with that factory hard line, I picked up a roll of copper line to try to fabricate a different setup for the fuel system. We got the Mr. Gasket fuel pressure gauge for the fuel rail. Hate them or love them. I've had good luck with these Edelbrock glass fuel filters. So they come with cheap little plastic nipples. We just went to the fitting aisle at O'Reilly's and picked up some good brass fittings for them. A new pack of filters. That's 3 filters. That'll last a while. The fuel system seems pretty clean on it. I had a clear plastic filter on it at one time, but ended up taking it off. So this is the plan of attack. I'm going to set y'all up. We're going to get busy. Disconnect the battery. Remove this alternator. That'll give us better access to the fuel pump. That way y'all can see what's going on and gives me an open area to plan a routing for that fuel line. So once I get that done, I'll bring you back. I'm going to be in the middle of live streaming this at the same time, so it's going to be kind of difficult. But we're going to do the best we can. Y'all stay tuned. We're going to rock out. So I got the original fuel pump off here with the hard line. Going to it. I'll give you a look at the new pump and the whole setup we got going on there. So now that I've got that alternator out of the way, you can see we got easy access to the fuel pump. It's just 2 half-inch bolts. Trying to get you a better view of it. Down inside of there has a small push rod that rides on the arm of the fuel pump. So you got to make sure when you put that new pump back in, you got to slide that little push rod back up against the camshaft. If not, you're going to have issues when you go to crank it. You're not going to have any fuel pressure. So I'm going to bolt that new pump up, and then we're going to start routing these hard lines. I'll try to come back to y'all when I got a little bit more progress doing. I don't know if we're going to come off right here and make a turn towards the carburetor. Let's see, we could probably come off a slight bend because we still need to put the sway bar in here. We got to leave room for that. Come off right here, up against the fender, and then back towards the carburetor. That way it can get some airflow across of it. We'll see. Let's get this pump bolted up and we'll plan out the routing. Okay, I tried to form a hard line, and I just could not get it to seal up with that compression fitting that on the pump. So we just put a 3/8 nipple in it, and we're gonna run a rubber line for the time being, just to see if we can remedy this issue. I might end up having to do away with this fuel rail and route something off of the straight off the carburetor to the fender over here, and then down and over. But if I do that, then I won't have a provision for the fuel pressure gauge. So I got a little short piece of this heat wrap left over from another project. I'm gonna put that right there against the frame. I need to get another piece to go up here. I have to do something to keep the heat off of this glass filter away from these heater hoses. But at least we can see we got fuel now. That gauge is reading like, them things ain't never accurate. I was hoping I was gonna get a good one, but I don't think there's no way in hell that this factory pump is making 11.5 pounds of fuel pressure. So I guess divide by 2 maybe, and that's your accurate fuel pressure. Still, that would be kind of high, but that would be within specs for that pump. That pump is spec'd out. I think it's between 4 and 7 psi. So let me tidy this up real quick and put the alternator back on it, and we'll see what it's going to do, if it's going to have any leaks. I done test fired it and tightened up a few leaks. Had a leak right there at the pump, and then we had a small leak right here on this. That's why I double clamped that one. All right, let me get busy.